What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a blessed day, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about making sure that you get the right tenants into your real estate investment properties. Guys, I cannot emphasize how important this is because you buy real estate to make money, and if you got a bad tenant, you better believe you ain't gonna make any money. I've experienced it. I've had bad tenants, I've had great tenants, I've had okay tenants, and the most stressful thing is when the month comes to pay their rent and they don't pay it, you start to lose some sleep. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you avoid losing yourself some sleep, making sure that you vet that tenant the right way, and at the end of the day, making sure that your investments are true investments that bring you positive cash flow and not positive headaches, if you get what I'm saying. So guys, if you get any value and you enjoy this video, hit that free like button. It's for free, and it pumps this video up, and I'd really appreciate it. And let's dive right into it. The first thing that I want you to be very careful of is if a tenant wants to move in the property so badly. To you, it might be good news because you're like, woohoo, I got a tenant. But to them, they're probably up to something. Those tenants who say, I can move in tonight, I can get the keys tonight, I can pay security deposit tonight, I can pay first month's rent tonight, those are maybe tenants you gotta be careful for, and let me explain why. On one side, you have a tenant who just wants to get into another property quick because their first lease is about to expire. Now that's your hope that that's that tenant. On the other side though, usually what the tenant is they got problems going on. They might be getting kicked out of their current place. They might not want the place they're getting kicked out of to file that they got kicked out of it, which shows on their record, so they're trying to rush to another property. So that property they rush to doesn't ask for 3, 4, 5 times security deposit or just rejects them in whole. Now this is case by case, but usually a tenant who's so demanding, wanting to get into the doors today, more than likely they're trying to run away from something else, a problem, an eviction, or a case which you don't want to be involved with at all. So don't be too happy when you see a tenant who's eager to get into the doors. It could, and it would, for me especially, set a huge red flag to triple check them. And I'm sharing this because I've had that. I've had tenants who wanted to get in the door yesterday, and those tenants were big problems for me, and thankfully I didn't put them in the property. Big problems when I was vetting them. Imagine if I let them in my door. Now this is case by case. Not every tenant is like that, but the ones that are, make sure that you get good references, you background check them, you check everything and do your due diligence ×2 because you want to be cautious you don't get screwed over and not collect your rent from this tenant. The second thing that I want you guys to check out is credit. Bad credit or good credit. Now, I'm not saying I judge all tenants based off their credit. I've let tenants into my properties who have a 500 credit score because sometimes tenants just don't build their credit, don't really have credit. But then on the other side, there's tenants who have bad credit scores because they got collections after them. They're not paying their car bills. They're not paying their mortgages. They're not paying whatever it is, and they're trying to run from that to rent a property before things hit the ceiling for them. So you want to be careful when you're checking the credit. For me personally, there's certain things that I just don't care about. For example, student loan debt. I know you got to go to school. I know that you might get debt. I know that you might fall behind. And I don't really put that as a burden on the tenant who's coming to my property. I put that aside. What I really judge is late car payments, late credit card payments, bills or loans or things that are due and they're not paying them in a timely manner. I judge that. But life scenarios like I had to randomly go to the emergency room and I have a $10,000 ambulance bill, I don't judge that. I understand people go through things in life. So if the credit is bad mainly because of that, I don't care. But in general, check credit. The third thing that I want you to check on is tenants who give you fake prior landlord information. What this means is you say, hey, give me a prior reference, your prior landlord who you've been paying rent to every month, supposedly. And they give you a number, you call that number, and it's their friend and you don't even know that. So what I want you to do is get that address of the property where they paid rent at. Then that phone number they give you, search it on Facebook. Typically, if the account is linked to their phone number, you can find that owner. If you can't do that, still take that property address, put it in, for us, TAD, Tarrant County Appraisal District, and you can put that in your county district. Put that address in there and it'll pop up the owner's name aligned with the property address. That same owner's name should be the person that you're calling. So when you say, hey, this is 123 speaking, who am I talking to? Are you the prior owner of this property? Please state your name. They'll say their name, you'll be able to know. Now, of course, you don't say it like that, like you're an IRS agent or something, but say it more smoothly and ask them for their name, and hopefully they'll give you it, which will match with the house address, meaning the ownership of that house address. Now, the reason why I say do this extra due diligence is to make sure that the owner is the phone number that you're calling and not their friend, because if it's their friend, more than likely they have bad rep with the prior owner. Bad rep with the prior owner means they weren't paying rent, means they maybe demolished the property, were bad with the property, and now you're talking to a friend who is saying, yeah, they're great tenants, they pay on time, blah, 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 which is not true, and that puts you in a bad position because you'll take that to the bank and you'll bring them in your property. So verify that the prior owner's number they give you is actually the prior owner's number that they rented from. The fourth thing that I want your eyes to be open on is to check on that tenant who you're in discussion with to see how responsive are they? Do they show up on time? Did they bring the papers on time? Were they depositing on time? Were they giving you things on time prior to you signing the lease? This means a lot about the person you're about to bring in the door of your property. The tenant who comes in late for appointments, the tenant who gives you paperwork late, the tenant who says, I'm going to send you the security deposit today and does it in 4 days, that should be a red flag for you. And the tenant who keeps making excuses, sorry, I'm busy, sorry, I'm this, sorry, I had an emergency, sorry, I had that, just be careful from them. And the fifth and final thing, which I love the most, this is my favorite, trust your intuition. Meet the person in person, and when you meet them, make sure that you feel comfortable with them, that you can talk to them, that they respect you, that they understand their position and your position, that they understand that you are the landlord and you got bills to pay and mortgages due and payments to pay, and that you need to make sure that they pay you on time. When you meet this person and you talk to that person, you will understand what kind of person they are. You'll look at them in the eyes and be able to read them a little bit more. Their body movements, how they act, how they react, questions that you ask and what they respond with. All of that is important. And if you feel your intuition is saying, be careful, red flag, I'm not comfortable, do not take them. Quick story for me, I had a tenant that applied, I did a background check, looked into everything and found out they were a felon for 15 years. They were locked up in prison. 15 years, that's not something light. But guess what? I met the person. I gave him opportunity. I vibed with him. I liked him. I trusted him. I understood that he made a mistake, but he's trying to fix that mistake. He's trying to get back on his feet, and I was an opportunity to help him get back on his feet, and I actually got him into the property. Till this day, we're going on to almost 2 to 3 years, he has been the best tenant I have ever had, I have ever dealt with. I love talking to him. I love brainstorming with him. I love just checking in and saying, do you need help? Actually, a couple weeks back when Thanksgiving came, I sent him randomly $300 and said, I'm thankful for you. So guys, sometimes your intuition, if not most of the time, needs to be checked before bringing in a tenant. If you feel like you don't want them, don't do it. If you feel comfortable with them, even though there might be some risk on the paperwork, make the move, because ultimately you can feel certain things that paperwork can't let you feel. So just a general overview, guys, I gave you some tips on what you need to do to make sure that your rental properties, your investments actually cash flow. If they don't cash flow as an investor, you got a bad deal, a bad investment, and you don't want that. You don't want that headache. You see some of these gray hairs that I got? If I don't get faded, you can see them clearly. Those gray hairs are from tenants who gave me heartaches, headaches, and didn't let me sleep at night for some days because you got mortgages due, payments due, bills due. You can't afford to have a tenant not pay. And sadly, sometimes tenants just don't understand that. Anyways, guys, I hope this helps you out. I hope that this protects you on your future investments and current investments before bringing in a tenant. And if there's anything I can help you with, give you value on, comment that below and let me know. And most importantly, hit the like button, it's free, and subscribe. I upload every single week. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm out.